Hello everybody, this is quixQuery here, and today we are back to play some more Hermit Pack. And we are out here just to look at the awesome view, look at the greenhouse. We are now in a new version of the Hermit Pack, and in this version I've been looking around at stuff a little bit, and you can see that this diamond chisel actually works now. And hopefully some of these conduits and stuff... I've accepted the fact that we just need to replace these conduits. I'm not sure what's wrong with them. We just need to... the conduit facades. There we go. That's what they're called. The facades. The facades need to be replaced in there. We have one right here. If we were to repaint this with a laboratory block, get out a laboratory block, and get it back to the thing that we want, go to our painting machine, which actually just so happens to be in our basement right now. And, which one is it? I think it's this one. Yes, it is. Okay. So we put that one there, and our laboratory block there. It should hopefully repaint it. Okay. Awesome. Now the question is, does this work on the place where it was before? No, it doesn't. Okay, so we might need to just craft new facades and do it like that, or maybe they're just the blocks that we're using in the facades. Either way, that will have to wait, because right now we are all backed up in our Quantum Quarry. Our Quantum Quarry storage is completely and totally backed up. If we go to the second basement, and look at this, you can see that I have a storage crate, and I also have a second storage crate right there. And this one is completely and totally full, and this one is completely and totally full also. And so it's not producing anything currently. So we're just going to have to figure out how we can quickly hook this up to our refined storage system. Get out of here. As part of that, we are going to do a little more work with this storage drawers mod, and you can see that we have a little bit of stuff set up here, a little more stuff. Our controller is in a good spot now over here, and we have started doing some upgrades on these drawers already. And if we shift right click on this, you can see that this is completely full right now, and we are using what is called storage upgrade, and this increases the storage to be 2 times what would normally have been the value. And so right now we can see that we are holding 2 times 2048. 2048 is what a drawer here normally would hold. And so, but it also has what's called a void upgrade in there, and what that does is when extra items are tried to be put into here, it will take them, but then it'll destroy all of the extra ones that are over the maximum amount, which is 4096. And we have the same setup over here on this stone thing, and it's pretty easy to just put one of those storage upgrades in there. And so what we can do is take out a bunch of cobblestone right here, and you can see it all falling on the ground, and all of it out of that drawer, put it into this drawer, and you can see that now we have no more cobblestone. It just disposed of it because we tried to put extra stuff in there that didn't belong there. And so we are just going to have 1 drawer for cobblestone, 1 drawer for stone, and 1 drawer for each of these other things as well. So we have now hooked up stuff for a lot of the things that we are going to be putting into this storage system right here. And you can see we have netherrack, hardened stone, a bunch of other modded stones, sand, gravel. We even have clay right here, as well as dirt and the 3 vanilla stones. But you can see that this clay is in a different looking drawer, and the reason behind that is because this is a compacting drawer, and you can't actually apply aesthetics to the compacting drawers, but that is just fine. You can still put upgrades in them, and now this will allow us to freely convert between the solid and the non-solid form of clay, which is super awesome, and so we can take it out either way, and the drawer doesn't care, which is super cool. And so that is what we're going to be using for our clay storage right there. And now that we've transferred all of our items from the existing RS storage to the what will be the new RS storage, we have to look up here and make sure that this is set at priority 1 rather than priority 0, and we can then take one of these drawers. Which one do we want? This one right here. Awesome. And then we place it back down, and you can see right there that that is should now all be hooked up. And before, we did not have any cobblestone, and you should see right here we have 4.1k cobblestone. That's pretty awesome. We also have 1.7k stone. And so now, if we go back down to our second basement so that we can see the stuff in here, this should cover most of the stuff right here, and you can see stone is a biggie. But we have granite, diorite, andesite, dirt, we have some spruce wood and leaves, but I'm not too concerned about those. Limestone, marble, alabaster, hardened stone. Yeah, that looks like that's about it. And so now all we need to do is hook this up to our refined storage system. To do this, we're going to need an importer, and we can see right there that that is pretty simple to make. All we need is some cable and a couple of other things, and now we just need to go down to our second basement and attach this to the cord that I have wired down here from our IMI controller. I say IMI, I mean Refined Storage Controller, and you can see it right there. Probably should fill in some of those blocks still, but all we have to do is put this right there, and you should see that this now imports items into the system. We're just going to have to see how this works out, because I'm not seeing any items in here right now, but it might just be because we have enough storage space for them to go into that it just immediately will put them in. So it turns out how we actually want to do this is put our storage crate right here, and you can see by everything lying around that I just mined up the one that was originally right there. And then what we want to do is run our importer into that instead. And hopefully this should now... It does look like it's working. But we are just going to have to go up to our storage system and check it out for ourselves. We can see right here that this number is ticking up, which means that our system is working successfully, and that is super awesome. And unfortunately, I was down there putting all the items in the new crate, and it looks like that stuff is backing up. And so what we want to do, actually, is make a speed upgrade from the Refined Storage mod. And that is this one right here. That just... No, that is Mechanism. That is... Aha, there we are, Refined Storage. Aha. An upgrade, which is an improved processor, some quartz, some glass, redstone, and sugar. That doesn't sound too expensive. While I was at it, I made a speed upgrade for my solderer as well. That is actually super nice because this thing is really slow normally. So now we just need to take this down to the place where we need it, and there's actually a hole right here down there. However, it is a space short, so we're just going to mine that up. Ignore that guy for the moment, and put this in with the upgrade slot right there. And so now, hopefully, this should be working faster than the items are being put into there. Get out of here. And that should prevent our clogging issues. And if not, then we can always make another speed upgrade. Aha! 4 speed upgrades should do the trick. But since the chisel mod is back up and running in this new update, I am going to get started on making this place look nice, because right now it is a bit of a mess. More than a bit, but it is very much so a mess. And so we need to clear out the floor, make the walls look nice, and add a ceiling, and finish up all the doorways on either end. So I replaced the entire floor, and then I realized that I had the swapping wand, and that I could have done it that way instead of using my hammer. But for the end of this episode, what I would like to do is come over here into this room right here, which I have just carved out, and you can see that this room is actually looking really nice. The only things that we really need left are a light source and, well, to clean up the rest of this stuff. And this door frame right here I need to do. But we can see right here we have our atomic reconstructor, which actually um, is insanely cool looking, and so we've built a whole room for it, which is pretty cool. And so these are all laboratory blocks. You can see right here, this is a screen, and the rest of them are large panels. And so now what my plan is that we are going to have like a little room right here for this laser specifically, and they'll have glass leading into it, and there will be like a door that also leads into it, so that you can come in here, place an item, get out, close the door, and fire off the laser. We have a mechanism cable running all the way around, back to our power source, all the way back over in there. And we can see, let's grab some stone and patch up that hole right there, actually. Awesome. And so this is going to look really cool. At some point, I would like to expand this room out a little bit more, and then make an empower back here too. And so I'm planning on this being our actually additions crafting room, and it's going to be pretty cool looking, at least in my mind it's going to be. And so I'm really excited on how this is going to turn out, but I need to finish this door frame and get something basic set up for how I want to have this room look. We have not finished this room yet, but we're coming real close. It's the gist of stuff is up, and I might change this up for different things. I don't know. This is the thickened glass from Extra Utilities. It's glass and sand put in a crafting table and then smelted together again. And you can see right here we have a little control thing. I'm thinking that I might actually want to change this back to look a little more bulky around the laser there. But we will see how it works out. But for the moment, the thought as far as how this is going to work, and you can see that I've expanded this just a little bit, is that we can put our blocks right down there at the end of the thing, and then push that thing, and ta-da! It turns them into the not the empowered form, the other form of it, the actually additions form. And so then we can use that for other things. And so say if I want to make something like an experience solidifier, those take empowered diamonds. Okay, yeah, no, we are not there yet, but we are real close. We have our laser all set up, and we're ready to dig back there and set up our empowering room as well. But I'm thinking that this is all we have time for in this episode. So it turns out I was wrong. We do actually have some more time in this episode, and so we are going to go into our actually additions manual, getting started, and look at the empowerer. Fire the laser. Yeah, that's super cool. Anyway, we need these redstonia crystal blocks, which are just redstone in that laser over there, and you just saw that right there. But if we break those into individual redstonia crystals and put all that back in there, we can put those actually in there. And we also need black quartz for these coils that we need in order to make the things for the thing that isn't actually very specific. And so if we go back to the empowerer page, we can see that this is the setup right here. And so we have our empowerer in the middle, and then we have display stands on each of the individual sides. And so we need 5 of these display stands, because 1 is required to craft the empowerer. And so we need some what are called advanced coils in order to make these. And so what we are going to do is come into here, add advanced coil. Aha, there we are. That's it. And it's just surrounded by that. And so the black quartz comes from natural generation, and so we need 5 of these. And awesome. Okay, now the next part is where it starts to get a little more complicated. I want to make what's called the display stand right here, 5 of them, and these require athaic green blocks and athaic quartz. And both of those are made from quartz, and so for each of those, we are going to need 6 quartz blocks. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is 3. I'm not sure what I was thinking there. Now, half of these, and if we break this into half, need to be converted into the ethaic quartz, which is done by lining them all up in a block right here. And you can see we'll put some more. Oop, there we go. Okay, that's all we need. That should be 15, because now we have 15 left in our inventory. And then we will blast that with a laser, and you can see that they have all turned into this ethaic quartz. In order to get the green ethaic block, which is also required for the display stands, we need to hit chiseled quartz with the block right there. And so we need some quartz slabs for that. Let's get all our quartz back. There we go. Quartz slabs. Oh no, that was more than I needed. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Awesome. Now the rest of those can go back in there. And now, if we put these in the thing right here and shoot it with a laser, we can see that this gives us green ethaic quartz. Ethaic green blocks. Ta-da! In order to create the empowerer, if we look at the recipe right here, we need some iron casings, which are pretty simple. They're just iron, some sticks, and a piece of black quartz, and a double battery. Redstonia crystals, we have those. Display stands, we have those. So all we have to work on is this double battery right here, and that is a single battery and an advanced coil, some Inore crystals, and the single battery is Inore crystals, advanced coil, and a Redstonia crystal up there. And so what we are going to do is toss this iron on the ground, which, by the way, it doesn't actually have to be in block form in order for the laser to affect it. And if we turn our laser on right there, we can see that they have turned into star-shaped little things. Those are our Inore crystals. And we can use those in our crafting recipe for the battery. Awesome, here we are. There is our empowerer, and we now have 4 display stands as well. And if we set this up temporarily in here, we do not actually have enough room by 1 block, but that is okay. We can then put this all down, and now what we need to do is supply power to all of these display stands on the side. So we have supplied power to our empowerer right here, and we can see right here, if we mine out a little bit below, that we have our advanced universal cables running into there. Super cool. But if we grab out our actually additions manual right here, we can check and see that in order to make a diamantine crystal, empowered diamantine crystal, we need to first get some diamantine crystal, which means we need to shoot this laser right here at the diamond right there. Awesome. Super cool. That was pretty simple. And now we put one of these on the pedestal in the middle. Let's clear out that right there. We put clay on 2 of these, a whole block of clay on one of them, and then a piece of light blue dye right there. And it should use the RF in these display stands right here to make this diamantine crystal into an empowered diamantine crystal. Ta-da! Empty hand? Aha, yes, empowered diamantine crystal. Now, to do the second one. Woo! Ta-da! 2 empowered diamantine crystals, which is enough to make our experience solidifier after we have slept to regain some power. So I was thinking about this, and I think that it's probably pronounced diamantine rather than diamantine, like I was pronouncing it before. Diamantine crystals, and so now we have our experience solidifier. super awesome, and we are going to bring that over to our mob system over here, and you can see the experience right there gets sucked into it and turned into experience. Super awesome. And if we can turn... Wow, look at all that. That's actually pretty cool. It turns like a ton of experience into the stuff here. That's actually pretty neat. And so then we can just take it out, put it in. Nice, and it just stores it. That's super nice. And now we just want to mine out that block right there so that we can get our wither skeleton skulls and other stuff. And since we have gotten these things from chests, we can grab one of those and use it to upgrade our mob attractor obelisk right here. And you can see that should hopefully increase its range. Hopefully. No. No. Is that a bug? Because it should. I don't know. This one works. The other one didn't for some reason. So it is now taking that power up, and it should, if we show its range. Aha! See, now it works for the entire thing, and that should be awesome. Oh yeah, and by the way, this mechanical user still works just fine, even when it doesn't have a sword in it. So, super awesome there. These things are working great, and so what we are going to do is improve this mob farm right here, fight a couple withers, and be done. So I've decided that this room will not hold our spawners, however it will hold our Cursed Earth mob farm. And so what we are going to do is take one of these drops of evil from the wither skeletons over there, and plop it down, and run away, and hope that we don't die after we block this thing up. Man, that went extremely quickly. Oh man, that's spawning wither skeletons mostly. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Let's put down our vacuum chest if we can. There we go. Okay, awesome. The way, in order to make this thing work, what we have is we put stone spikes along the edge right inside there, and we can't really see them, but they are there. There are stone spikes, and those will kill the mobs. However, it will also... I'm not sure... They might not be dropping anything, actually, because the spikes are stone instead of something else. It is time to get a couple of soul vials so that this attractor obelisk works on these things. And so... Ooh. Okay, so now... Can I catch you? I can! I'm not sure what you are. Baby skeleton. Okay, baby skeletons now get attracted to that thing. Hopefully they don't go through the glass right there. Oh, the farm is definitely working. You can see all the stuff we have in our inventory right now. And that's just from a tiny bit of time. And so now we are ready to look at the total number of wither skulls we have. We have a lot. That is super awesome. We actually, right now, we have more wither skulls than we have diamonds. If we look in here, we can see diamonds. We only have 2. So yeah, that is kind of interesting, but if we grab also some soul sand, then we can go and fight some withers. Here we are. So I honestly have no idea what happened in that other wither fight, where the wither just stayed there and took all the hits. But we're just going to try it in the same spot again and see what happens. It looks like the same thing is happening, which is really weird because these are definitely not wither-proof blocks. Let's do it again! What's that thing? What's that thing? Quick, 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 quick. Grab it with the soul vial. It's a spirit. I have no idea what that is. I've seen it from other mobs as well, so it's not just the wither that spawns that thing. Oh yeah, all the withers were super cooperative. We got 5 nether stars, not a single death, not a single heart of damage taken. Yeah, I don't even know what's up with that spot. That is not what I wanted to do. I have no idea what is up with that spot and why the withers aren't like breaking loose and destroying more items and blocks and stuff. But I will totally take that, and we now have 5 nether stars, which is super nice. And especially because in modded, nether stars are actually used for quite a lot of different things, different recipes and stuff. It's actually kind of funny if you look at the environmental tech mod. The environmental tech mod, I'm just going to tell you, goes way overboard as far as their how expensive their stuff is. But if you look at the solar array, you can see that the 4th tier solar array requires 40 structure blocks, just as an example, tier 4 structure blocks or above. And if we look at structure blocks right here, we can see that the 4th tier structure block requires a nether star. So that's 40 nether stars, at least. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Yeah. Anyway, and that's just for one solar panel. But yeah, that is pretty crazy. And so we're going to look at this spirit at some point, figure out what on earth it is, but we're going to have to do that next episode, so we are running out of time here, and we're going to sleep so that our power is getting back to generating. But that is all the time I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. This has been quixQuery. I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.